Avi Meyers, Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine, a presentation of Sonny Hirsch and myself. Dial us up on the web, ntnm.org. We're real big on community policing, caps24.org, and aldermanic race time. It is a pleasure to have a candidate for alderman in the 45th Ward, a lieutenant in the Chicago Police Department, John Garrido. John, how are you?
Very good. Thank you very much for having me on the show again. Appreciate it.
First of all, my pleasure. Thank you. And why don't you tell us about yourself and why you're running?
Okay, well, as you said, my name is John Garrido. I'm a Chicago Police Lieutenant. I'm also an attorney. I graduated from John Marshall Law School in 2006, and I now have a small law firm up on the northwest side of Chicago, actually in the 45th Ward, and I'm running for 45th Ward Alderman.
What are the 45th Ward boundaries?
The boundaries are basically on the east end. There's an area that Mayfair Park, and that's east of Cicero. But then basically it goes from Cicero to Nagel and Irving to Devon. Roughly those are the boundaries.
Okay. It's basically the way I take to go to the airport, it sounds like.
Right. Yeah, the Kennedy goes right through the middle of it. Yes.
Very good. Mm-hmm. So what are the issues?
I'll tell you, the issues, they always say that politics are local. And going door to door, I get everything from people that either want their alleys paved or don't want their alleys paved, or it's more lighting in a park, or potholes that aren't repaired in front of their houses, things like that. But the majority of the people, I'd say, number one, has been public safety. And the area that we live in is traditionally a safe area, but this talk of reallocating police officers and taking them out of slower neighborhoods has got people really, really concerned because crime is increasing. We're seeing more graffiti. There's less of a presence on the street with the officers. Education is another concern. They're complaining about the schools being overcrowded and the schools saying that they don't have enough money, so they either have to lay off teachers or they can't expand the size of these schools. When we know where all that money is sitting, it's being hidden in the TIF funds, which as soon as you start talking about TIFs, people's eyes glaze over. But
yeah, mine just did.
Yeah, there you go. As soon as you hear the word TIF, you're like, oh no, here we go. But I'm not going to go into a long dissertation on TIFs, but that's where all the money is. And the other issues are economic development. We've got a corridor from Milwaukee Avenue from Six Corners up to Devon that's just loaded with empty storefronts. And I'd say those are the big three. That'd be the public safety, economic development, and education in the schools.
Yeah, on public safety over here, we're one of the districts, too, that would lose people, and I think it's a really good way to get the nice, civilized, decent districts as crime-ridden as some of the poor ones.
Well, we're all paying tax dollars. Our tax dollars are supposed to go for services that should be spread fairly throughout the city. And rather than take officers from one district and move them to another, and they're trying to do more with less. And you cannot do more with less when it comes to public safety. It's unsafe. The 16th district, which covers most of the 45th Ward, is 30 square miles. Yet they have the same amount of officers allocated as another district on the south side that's a third the size.
You just brought up an excellent point that I wanted to bring up, and I'm glad you did it because I always forget to bring it up, is that these districts are tailored for the neighborhood. For instance, if you have a more peaceful, like for instance, our beat is a fairly large beat because it's a fairly peaceful beat.
Right.
The one north of us is even more peaceful, and it's about as big a beat as there is in the city.
Right.
By the same token, by the Morse L, it's like 2 blocks by 1.5 blocks because that's a problem area.
Right. And when you take officers away, all you do is you reduce response times, which is unsafe for the citizens who live in the neighborhoods. Plus, it's unsafe for officers for backup. You cannot. That is not the proper way to police. And then they want to use calls for service as a factor. And while that can be a factor, it should be a very small factor because a lot of people, what they'll call for on the south side, they don't necessarily call for in the neighborhoods on the north side. So the numbers are inflated on the south side. I guess is what I'm saying.
I hear. No, that's true. That's definitely true. Because there's no question about it.
Here, I was at work the other day. Heard it on the radio. A woman was calling the police. I was in the 7th district in Inglewood, calling the police because she told her son to turn the music down, and he wouldn't turn it down. That's what a car was being dispatched to go and take care of. Now, again, that doesn't necessarily always happen in some of these slower neighborhoods. The people only call the police when they absolutely need them. So when you have these inflated numbers, that's what makes it look like that there's a need for a larger police presence. And honestly, if you need more police, then we need to hire more police. And there is plenty of money. The TIF funds ended 2009 with $1.2 billion. $1.2 billion sitting in TIFs. 20% of that was diverted away from the city general fund. 50% of that was diverted away from the Chicago Public Schools. So do the math. That's over $200 million that could have gone toward hiring police officers, over $500 million that could have been put into the Chicago public school system. I mean, it's a problem, and the TIF program needs to be completely reformed.
It's a big problem. You're definitely right. It's a major slush fund the wrong way for.
I absolutely agree, and I'm also advocating. I believe that we shouldn't do more with less when it comes to public safety, but we can do more with less when it comes to aldermen. They just did the census. I'm serious. They just did the census, so now we're going to redraw the maps. We have 25 police districts in the city of Chicago. So that's one commander responsible for the safety of 100,000 people in each police district. Why do we need 4 or 5 aldermen per police district? If we can use one commander to be responsible for the safety of all those people, one alderman, I'm sure, can represent all those people. We could cut it in half immediately and just have one alderman per police district citywide, and we would save millions.
And that's an understatement. In Los Angeles, they actually have a system where they have much less aldermen than.
Right. And I mean, state representatives represent more people than an alderman does. An alderman represents about 50,000 people in their ward. Yeah. You've got state senators that represent more people. It's not impossible. You used to have to call your alderman for a garbage can. Now you can call 311. So the job of aldermen has changed significantly. And at one time we had 70 aldermen. I think it's time to take a look at it again and knock it down.
I wouldn't disagree. Why don't you give people your contact information?
My contact information is, you can go to my website at johngarrido.com. That's JOHNGARRIDO.com. Or you can call us at our office. Our office is located at 5953 North Elston, and the phone number there is 773-594-2870.
John Garrido, candidate for Alderman, 45th Ward. Thank you very much, and good luck.
Thank you very much. Consider me for your vote in February. Thank you.